might be surprised to hear this, but the original Mark I Audi TT is one of the most, if not the most influential cars ever made for quite few reasons, and it's still absolutely gorgeous today. Decades now after it first came out back in 1998, it was born from an experiment that very well played out when Audi needed it the most.
In this video, we're going to explore how this cute little thing influenced the modern car industry, and by the end of the video, you'll find out what makes the original TT so underrated and so special, and a great candidate for a collector car.
The Audi TT's design was a game changer. Inspired by Bauhaus minimalism, it introduced clean geometric lines, symmetry, and purity that was almost unheard of in production cars at the time. Its concept car-like appearance made it feel futuristic, yet it went into full production with minimal changes from the concept version, a very rare event in automotive history.
And it does look like the concept car indeed, which was for the first time revealed back in 1995. But if you compare it side by side with the Roadster, it's hard to do it because obviously it doesn't have the top. If you compare the coupe model to the concept car, you can clearly see one slight difference, which is in the rear quarter panel. Otherwise, they truly made the concept car real, which again, a very rare event in the automotive industry.
The 80s and early 90s were pretty dark and depressing times for German car design, which entered this comfort zone of dull, unimaginative, uncreative designs. Except Porsche, that was always putting together interesting cars. And when TT came out, it put a necessary end to those dark ages, and it made the TT an instant design icon. At the time when all cars design-wise were all over the place and mostly pursuing boxy and angular shapes, the TT immediately stood out in a good way. People absolutely loved it, and it won multiple awards specifically for the way it looked.
Now let's take a closer look at the design of the original TT and what made it so iconic. If you look around, it seems like every body panel flows into each other, making it so elegant and seamless. And it does seem like there's no front bumper. And then you look at the wheel arches, and that's where the distinction really shines, because all cars from 90s didn't really have this very bulky, muscle looking wheel arches. It all started right here, and it is the same situation in the back. The wheel arches again look so cool, muscly, bulky, just adds a little more power look to the cute overall original design of the TT, which is fascinating. And the same goes again with the rear tail lights, rear bumpers, everything just so flowing, and it's nice and elegant. And I can see why it made the original TT an icon of the car when it came out, and it's still considered obviously the design icon decades later today. And while we're here in the back, I want to talk the badging, the naming of it, TT. By the way, the letters seem pretty big for such cute little thing. It is named after Tourist Trophy, a famed Isle of Man motorcycle race for whatever reason. But the TT just sounds so cool and somewhat aggressive, while the car looks so cute. I just love the branding of this car. Here's another revolutionary influence from the original TT, this time in the performance area. It trailblazed the performance car industry in what we have today, because the original TT was the very first car to implement direct shift gearbox, DSG, also known as dual clutch transmission, which is nowadays widely used in all performance cars. But it all started right here. The later model year of the original Mark I TT was the very first car to introduce dual clutch transmission with the powerful V6. This one is the earlier model year, 2002 to be precise. So this one has the mandatory manual gearbox. Here's a really cool movement that the TT gave birth to in the car world. It is the way it looks on the inside. And I'm specifically talking about minimalistic outlook of the interior and implementation of aluminum into the interior. Before the TT, every interior looked basically black when it comes to buttons and switches, and it was just full of plastic. Every car had it, whether it was a really luxury car or cheap economy box. It was all about plastic, plastic, plastic in the mainstream car world. But the TT, with its stylized air vents, for instance, all wrapped in aluminum, really functional actually. You can open up or close the air vents by just twisting them, and it feels so good. It is very firm. And then this hinged radio cover with the TT logo on it. And for the most part, everything on the inside has a very circular theme with dots. You look at both door panels and the door handles have that circular theme. And then air vents have that theme again with those dots. Then right underneath the center air vents, there's 5 buttons and 2 of them operate really cool. Again, they're circular and they have dots inserted inside of them. But when you press the heated seats button, it actually pops out. And the way you operate it, you switch to the right or to the left, and that's how you turn on or off the heated seats. Very cool. And then climate control again have that circular theme. Then obviously manual gearbox have massive amounts of circles all around it, and it just looks so cool. And then next to cool manual gearbox, there is aluminum grab handle on both sides, I guess for more aggressive performance side of things if you were to take your TT on a racetrack. And this interior in general feels so good. It's a very well put together car. As far as I can see, everything still functions. There is no sticky buttons. And that's the reality of cars from 90s and early 2000s, specifically German cars. They used to build them so high quality. Buttons are so firm. Doors close so firmly. And implementation of the aluminum inside the TT where it started makes it even more appealing and make it even better place to be. It all looks very simple yet elegant. There is no cluttery mess going on with buttons, and that is why this is another reason why the TT gets so much admiration. And one more reason that makes the interior of the original TT even more admirable is the amount of storage that this cute little thing has. First off, both door panels have the netting. That's where you can store something, I guess, which is better than nothing because a lot of sports cars don't even offer that. Then obviously there's a traditional glove box, and then underneath there's another little space, open one, but you can still put something there. And then behind the seats, in between, there's a pretty good storage space for like wallet or something smaller. And then it has actual 2 very well put together cup holders, which is really surprising for a sports car, and especially surprising for a German sports car because Germans never admired people who were drinking while driving. And one more storage space that is almost hidden is in front of the manual gearbox under the climate control. You open it up and it reveals a couple buttons for your fuel door and your trunk, and there's enough space to put something the size of my fist. You figure that out, whatever you can fit in there, but nonetheless, it's there. And it's just nice to see that this cute little thing offers the variety of storage spaces it does inside of this cute little cabin. Now here where the TT fell short, people weren't taking it as a serious sports car, which I understand because it wasn't built from ground up like Porsche cars, for instance. Instead, it was based on Mark IV Volkswagen Golf, Seat Toledo, Skoda Octavia, Audi's own front-wheel drive Audi A3. So nothing super exciting because it was built on front-wheel drive platform, but it was competing with BMW Z3 at the time and Mercedes SLK, which those cars had their own platform, a rear-wheel drive platform, and the TT didn't have that platform. But here what TT offered, but Z3 and SLK didn't: mandatory manual transmission and optional quattro all-wheel drive, which made this car pretty fun to drive. The next very influential this cute little thing was able to achieve is not only the TT restored Audi's bad reputation at the time, but it was able to rebuild it in a new, exciting way. Enter the horrible Audi 5000 unintended acceleration debacle.
The Audi 5000 unintended acceleration debacle was a major automotive controversy in the 1980s that nearly destroyed Audi's reputation in the US. Reports emerged that the Audi 5000, the US version of the Audi 100, was suddenly accelerating without driver input, leading to crashes and injuries. The situation exploded after a 1986 60 Minutes report, which featured emotional interviews with victims and dramatic footage of an Audi 5000 accelerating on its own, which was later revealed to be staged.
The company that makes Audis has had to defend its cars against claims that they suddenly speed up out of control with disastrous results.
You are positive that your foot was on the brake?
Absolutely.
I know damn well my feet were on the brakes. Both feet were on the brakes.
Despite Audi's insistence that there was no mechanical defect, investigations by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration eventually concluded that the issue was due to driver error, specifically people unknowingly pressing the accelerator instead of the brake due to pedal placement differences compared to American cars. However, the damage was already done. Audi sales in the US plummeted by 84%, and it took over a decade for the brand to recover. The scandal ultimately led to major industry-wide safety changes, including the mandatory brake shift interlock system in automatic cars to prevent unintended acceleration.
Following the unintended acceleration debacle of the Audi 5000, it was the TT that helped to rebuild Audi's bad reputation here in North America. And after the TT came out, people finally started taking Audi brand in general pretty seriously. It wasn't the third choice anymore, where the German car brand rivalry only belonged to BMW or Mercedes, and Audi used to be an afterthought. But with the TT, Audi took a brand new leap into the future, and they completely rebuilt their reputation, and they actually started being on par and a true competitor to BMW and Mercedes. And it's all because of this thing. How wonderful and cute. This little thing is most likely the reason that Audi exists today. And speaking of cuteness, let's talk how this cute little thing actually killed a few people.
Early models had a dangerous flaw. At high speeds, the liftoff oversteer could send the car spinning. It caught Audi off guard, it caught drivers off guard. Some crashed, some never made it home. It was attributed to aerodynamic purity because of TT's shape, which made it very unstable at high speeds. Audi's response was a game changer. They recalled the existing TTs and put the spoiler on them, but for later model years, they fitted a retractable rear spoiler to improve the downforce, which was one of the very first instances of a production car getting an electronic spoiler, a feature now common in high-performance sports cars.
So if you happen to find the early model of the TT without the added spoiler, then you're looking at something very valuable because it is already a highly desired collectible car. I gotta admit, I usually prefer the looks of the coupe models, but with the TT, the Roadster looks so good, especially with those distinctive roll hoops right behind me. It's just wonderful, wonderful. And as far as the driving experience goes, it's pretty excellent, to be honest. The shifter is not as linear and tight as I like to be, for instance, like maybe Porsche Boxster is, but it's still pretty good, especially for the front-wheel drive platform that this car was developed on. It's very good. It's very manageable. It's not loose like, for instance, Mercedes manual could be from this era. It's actually pretty good and pretty fun too. And with the top off in this wonderful Arizona weather, this is a ton of fun. And this 1.8 liter four-cylinder powertrain is not bad at all, especially if you consider the size of this vehicle and the weight. It weighs a little over 3,400 pounds, And having 225 horsepower option with a quattro all-wheel drive, this is enough power to get most of the fun out of such a small sports car. It's great. Yeah, something wonderful about convertibles in sunny states. I love it. And this interior aged so well. It is a great place to be, and shifting this shifter, it's very cute and it's wonderful. And I can see the appeal of the original TT. It's such a cool and iconic car, and no wonder it's becoming valuable and collectors hunting for the best examples of them. What a great and neat car.
Was the original TT a great sports car? No, not really. Was it a compelling GT car? Again, it wasn't. We have pretty narrow set of parameters for GT cars and sports cars. Instead, what TT is a pretty good mashup of the GT car because how practical and comfortable and daily usable it is for a two-door, and it is a all-weather, pretty good handling sports car. It is safe to say that the TT invented a class of its own that no other two-door cars were able to achieve, and that is why we love the TT so much. And if you want to find out what other car gave really hard times to BMW and Mercedes, then watch this video here.